Morning and welcome to Gardening 365 41. Now, as you can see, it's just gorgeous this morning, so definitely getting out to do some jobs. Now, interestingly enough, if you look into just above the trees, that's cloud, so everything down in the valley is completely covered in cloud. And for a change, here at Cherry Tree we've got the best weather. Whoopee! Fish pond's going, and I just love that sound of running water. And I'm starting with feed Saturday. So as you've seen many times before, this is just a tomato feed, and it's ideal for your house plants. And before I go out, the quick indoor plant update. The peace lily is looking stunning. This isn't the same flower that I've shown you previously, but it seems to love its position and it's looking superb. It's just been repotted, by the way, and still looks great. The yucca looks fine, the hibiscus looks fine, but my castor oil plant looks like it's dying until you look a little bit closer. Lots and lots of new growth, so I'm guessing some of these top leaves will fall off and the new growth will come from there. And also it's seeded recently, so all of the seeds are dropped into the soil, and I'm hoping we get little babby ones from them as well. We'll see. Amaryllis is probably in excess of 2 foot, but still hasn't flowered, and I think that's going to be blind myself. I don't think we're going to have any flowers off that this year. The bird of paradise, as we all know, is my absolute pride and joy, and hoping to get that to flower at some point, maybe not this year. Two smaller amaryllis, both doing okay. They're really not going to flower this year, they're a bit too young for that. And here's the other one. Now, we've all seen Yvonne's fantastic amaryllis flowering. This is, I think, going to be similar. It's a little bit behind most people's for whatever reason, but we're looking forward to that flowering. And that is probably just under a foot tall at the moment, so about 30 centimetres maybe. I'm modern, I can convert. In this windowsill we've got a couple of mild chilies and some early onions. They're exhibition onions. And this is my indoor greenhouse, or a large windowsill. What have we got over here? We've got 2 Malabar, which is climbing spinach. I'm going to pot them into different pots very soon. Got the tomatoes that I potted last week. They've seemed to have done okay. A couple of early cucumbers, a little bit leggy. Over here, this is my chilli bed. We got some more mild chilies. We got some Scotch bonnets. We've got some California Reaper chilies, and then their peppers, sweet peppers. Over here, some more mild chilies and some tomatillos that really didn't grow well at all. I think it was far too early for them. Over here, some more chilies, and over here, some exhibition onions, and the far chili is a California Reaper. So probably going to start to pot some of those up today. Got to be careful because of space. We can only have so much in that window, and I can't go beyond that space at the moment, so I can't overdo it. And it's far too early to put them out in the greenhouse yet because of the cold temperatures. It was sub-zero last night, so they don't want to really be going into the greenhouse. And I do eat the greenhouse, but I don't want to really be heating it to that extent just yet. Now, recently with all the high winds, our log pile collapsed a little bit, so my next job is to tidy those all up, and instead of restacking them, I'll just take them up to the house and they can go in the log shed. Now I'm going to do something I haven't done for a very long time. Should I do it? Should I do it? Hey! Oh, bare chest. I'll take my shirt off. Mummy, sweatshirt. Now this is exactly the same pot as I showed you last week. So we can see whatever these bulbs are, I can't remember, are starting to shoot. So spring is on its way, and that's great. Incredible 1 week, the growth. Amazing. Showed you the snowdrops last week, they're still looking good. And the daffs, not quite ready to come out yet. The crocuses this week look so much better. and even on camera they look pretty good now. So that is Crocus Hill, and we love it. So that's pretty much it for today. Cleared all the wood up there, looks a bit better. But the main job today was pretty much completed. All of the soil for raised bed 6, which I'm really pleased about. So all that remains really on raised bed 6 now is I've got to clad it with wood similar to the raised bed at the very end and plant it, so this will become our strawberry bed. Is that the end of the soil preparation? No, we got loads of soil prep still to do. So certainly in the first year, raised bed will always sink, and the reason why they sink so much, certainly in mine, is because I make the soil so light and there's quite a depth as well, so they do sink down. So one of my jobs, well, many of my jobs this year, will be filling these back in. So I've got to prepare some soil. The soil will come from there, what we dug out from raised bed 6, mix it with compost and get these pretty level again. And pretty much every single raised bed needs doing. So soil preparation is going to be a big job for me this year, I promise you. I've got a lot to do. Which one I'm going to do next, I'm not really sure, but certainly soil prep now is one of the major priorities for me. Well, that's it. Saturday, I'm going in to chill. See you tomorrow. Morning. And another nice day to get outside. A little common lizard. Okay, and what I'm trying to do at the moment is protect it from a common lizard hunter. There he goes. And he's down there, he's safe now. Perfect. One of our Facebook friends, Billy Urbanick, gave us some shrubs in pots, and this is what we've done to them. So that's a Clematis, and we're going to use that for growing up the trellis of our new fence. And up against our cherry tree we've got a Clematis and a honeysuckle, also given us to us by Billy, so thanks for those, Billy. And up against the fence we've got another Clematis. This is the big one. Claire thinks this is a Montana. And in the wildlife area, a tree peony. And as I walk past the beautiful crocuses in the wildlife area, I come to another tree peony. So Claire's been hard putting these in during the week. And the wildlife pond looks beautiful this morning. And coming round past the snowdrops, there's quite a few out now. Looking up the bank towards all of the crocuses on Crocus Hill, and they are absolutely fantastic. And then daff's all in bud. None have come out yet though. And here's just a few of the beautiful, beautiful crocuses. Look at these. Absolutely sensational. So delicate and so beautiful. Down by the greenhouse now, another Clematis that Billy gave to us. Something else that Billy gave us is this. Not really sure what it is. It looks a little bit like a hazel, so not sure if we'll keep it there if it is an hazel. In fact, not sure if we'll keep it because we've got plenty of hazels already. What we believe is an hibiscus and what we believe is a jasmine. Again, all of these so far have been given to us by Billy, so can't thank you enough, Billy, for these. The tree peony, and that will grow up amongst all of the irises that Gillian Eyre gave to us. Aren't we lucky? So thanks again, Billy. Thanks, Gillian, and thanks, Claire, for potting these all up during the week, and sorry about my shadow. So Billy, many thanks for giving them to us, and what we'll do is we'll sort of film you those as they go through the year. Cabbage's really appreciated. I think there's going to be some gorgeous flowers and shrubs in those, so again, thank you. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create my own little photo album of all of the beautiful crocuses, and you'll see the slideshow very shortly. Cue the music. So after I finished filming yesterday, I went round some of the raised beds, and I'm going to show you really the advantage of raised beds now. But I went round and did some weeding. Advantage of raised bed number one. Advantage number one, about this height, it's minimum amount of bending over. So obviously when you get old like me, or getting old like me, you don't have to bend over anymore. But they've got to be a fair height, and the higher they are, the more soil they need to fill them up. So there's an advantage, but definitely a disadvantage. There's a lot of work to get them to this height. I'm thinking when I'm sort of in my 60s, 70s and 80s, I want to carry on gardening. Number two is weeding can be done sat down. Weeding becomes a pleasure instead of a chore. So how have the raised beds coped with all of this wet weather and cold weather? My parsley doesn't look good, but basically I can cut that all back, it will grow up again. So I'll have good parsley this year, I'm sure. My favourite blueberries are now starting to shoot, which is great. And also what Claire did for me in the back end, she split them down, so I've now got 1, 2, 3, 4 blueberries. Ooh, lots of blueberries this year, my favourite. The garlic that we thought was dead has overwintered really well. These was given to us by a guy that put our greenhouse up called You. So thank you, You. Not you. I'm not very good with me H's. The raspberries that I put the chip in, they've done really quite well. 1 or 2 weeds that I need to pull out, but signs of growth. Whee! Strawberries, most of those are going to be moved. I will have some excess strawberry plants. If anybody would like some strawberry plants, I can pop them up for you and they'll be free to a good home. It looks a bit sick, but I know that'll come back. Found out that I've got too many chives, so I'm going to be pulling those chives out. Again, if anybody would like a chive plant, they are more than welcome. You won't have long because I'm going to pull them out shortly. And the other mint has died off, but that'll grow back. The guy that dug raised bed 6 out for me decided he was going to put the black currant and red currant there, so they're in the wrong place, so I'm going to have to pull them up. And also, if you notice, you can see so much block there. That's the sort of sinkage that you get from a raised bed in 1 year. That was from the top and it sunk down that much, so that would need infilling with soil, hence I need to do loads more soil preparation. But those two will be moving to there very shortly, and that's going to be my next job. The broccoli has got sprouting on it now, so some of those are almost ready to eat, so that's great. We've got lots of purple sprouting. Whee! Leeks are looking good. Those are the ones that I sort of moved last year, so they've overwintered really well. Lots of garlic down the other end as well. That's garlic that I bought. A couple of lettuce, I'm not sure how well they'll do. The rest of it is spare and ready for planting whenever we're ready to start planting. If you notice, this raised bed hasn't sunk so much, and the reason why, this is 2 years old opposed to this one over here where it really has sunk, which is 1 year old. The first year they sink lots, second year a little bit less. Got 2 of the monster parsnips left. They will be really nice now because they've had frost on them. Got some red cabbage that Yvonne gave to us. Well, she gave us a seed, so thanks for Yvonne for that. Now then, the superfood of the year, kale. That's overwintered really well, and even if it has been caught by the frost, just like that one, don't worry, because even if you completely cut it off completely, it still grows back. You cannot kill a kale. It is a superfood, super to grow and super to eat. Now about crop rotation, I try and move my crops each year if I can. I don't over stress about it. Now the raised bed over there was for potatoes last year, so this year I'm going to put carrots in there, and the reason why, carrots don't like to be fertilised, so I'm not going to fertilise that one at all. I'm going to put carrots in it. Last year this had onions in, so this year that will be my potato bed, and that one last year had, well, not carrots or onions, so I'm going to put some more onions in there as well. The bed this year I'm going to pretty much leave alone because they'll go on past planting time, but what I will do is give them a really good fertiliser, so mostly compost as soon as they're pulled out. Next job, as I say, is to move the 2 black currants and put them into that end pod, and they look good in their new home. apart from one final thing. They are, and now I'm happy. But now that leaves that raised bed pretty low. So what I'm going to do is just get a fork and just break it up a little bit, and I mean a little bit. I'm not going to dig it because I don't believe in over digging raised beds at all. And then I'm going to start filling that up, and the soil is going to come from there, so it's not got to travel a lot of distance. But what I am going to do is break it up before I put it in there. Now in my soil preparation I use compost on an epic scale. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 compost bins, and that whole compost bin has been used this weekend either by me for soil preparation in the greenhouse or by Claire for soil for her flower gardens. So now what I've got is a sort of quarter full compost bin, and anything in any of the other compost bins that isn't quite finished I'll just throw in there for next year. And I want to show you something really interesting. Now, I said kale is one of the wonder foods. It's beautiful to eat and it's so easy to grow. Now last year I pulled a couple out because I thought they were finished and I chucked them on the compost heap. But this is what I've just found. Kale stalk that I've thrown on the compost bin, and look, this is all this year's growth. So something I've tried to kill has still grown. Kale is wonderful. Even if you try to kill it, it'll still keep growing. So ideal for those people who are not so confident of gardening. Kale recommended. Now at the top of the compost bin, it never looks its best. It's usually when you get a layer or so down. But that doesn't look too bad. So I'm okay with that at the moment. And in the compost for next year already, we've got some old compost that was too big for this year. That's gone in there. We've got some of Claire's old plants that she's cut back. They've gone in there. Wood ash, eggshells, kitchen waste, the kale stalk, pretty much everything, to be quite honest. So what a great way of getting rid of your rubbish in a compost bin. And what's it do? After 12 months it returns you fantastic soil fertiliser. Recycling, nothing goes to waste in this house. And digging, if that's what you call it, is as easy as that, and it doesn't take long at all. But you need to have good soil to start with. A little bit out of breath, but not as much as I would be if I was digging a conventional garden. And that tells a story. Today maximum temperature 29.2 in the greenhouse, which shows it's been a really warm day. Now it's cooling down outside, but it's still 21 in the greenhouse. But look at that minimum temperature. Even with frost protection heating, it dropped up to 4.3 last night, so we're still getting really cold nights. So be careful if you've got any unprotected seedlings that are out at the moment. The frost will nip them, so keep them safe. That's almost it for me today. It's just before 5 o'clock. My onions that I put in just on to germinate. I can see one over towards the far end. My beans are showing a little bit of movement, but they haven't broke the surface properly yet. My Savoy cabbage are coming up. They don't look nothing like cabbage at the moment, I've got to be honest. And the red cabbage, they're doing okay at the moment. At the back I've got kale. You know how much I enjoy my kale. And like I showed you last week, the lettuces are all doing fine. Carrots really haven't made an appearance yet. Neither is my first potato. Everything else pretty much as is. My calabrese, there's my fist. So the head's as big as my fist at the moment. And I've got another one of these growing outside at the moment, so I personally think maybe even next weekend that'll be chopped up for dinner. Okay, lettuce, I've lost some of those for slugs, so there's slug pellets down now. And the favourite kale is growing as well in the greenhouse. Got lettuce over there, not sure whether that's we'll eat that or whether that's for the poultry, we'll see. So then, What have I achieved this weekend? I'll show you. Raised bed 6, as I showed you yesterday. Finished it off this weekend. So really, really impressed with that and happy with the progress of it. Got to now clear all the soil away, and once that's all gone, then I can clad it with wood, which will make it look like a wooden raised bed, which will make it look a lot better. And raised bed wise, I've put the black currants in. Sure, they'll do fine now. I haven't actually watered them because the ground is still quite wet, but since I filmed last, I've completely filled up raised bed 4.2, as we call it. Still loads of work to do. I still need to fill up that last pod of the raised bed, get rid of the soil, and sort of fill in all of the other raised beds as well. Like I said, I think it was last week or maybe the week before, you know, it's been hard work. Today, it's just been great. I've loved it. I'm really sad now that I've got to go in. Well, unfortunately, that concludes this week's Gardening 365. Join us next time when we'll be doing more of the same. Okay, keep inviting your friends to Facebook. We're doing well on Facebook, and last week we did really well on YouTube as well. Don't know the exact amount of views that we had, but it was into the hundreds of Gardening 365 40, and I'm hoping this week's video gets just as many. And if you are watching on YouTube, if you look down there and down there, those are the buttons to find other Gardening 365 videos and also to subscribe. And it would be great to get as many people subscribing as we possibly can. But as I say, that concludes this episode. So thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.